Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Handicap. It's 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. It's rugby chat that matters. Our favourite sport, rugby, and our favourite hobby, or to some of us, a career, is betting, of course. So we'll talk to some of those career guys in just a moment. Thanks to those who watched us on the GG Gaming Gone Mad show not long ago. There was some complaints about a cricket in the background. A lot of people asking if I even had a pet cricket. Well, I'm pleased to report that cricket has stopped making a noise now. I don't think it'll be troubling us for the rest of the evening. Seriously, though, it probably will trouble us because every time I go out there, it keeps quiet, then it makes a noise again. Before we get into the show, if you haven't watched us before and you want to catch our shows in the future, go down, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell to make sure you're notified of all of our videos. There's massive rugby this weekend. We've got 10 matches to look forward to. We've got 3 guests on the show to talk about the games. So really looking forward to getting stuck into the betting. But let's first introduce the panel. And I'm going to start down in Cape Town. Yes, he's wearing a Western Province jersey. Fortunately, the Bulls and the Stormers are not playing against each other this weekend. It's Henrik Swart. Henrik, how are you?
Hi, Brent. I'm well, thanks. Yeah, it was a nice first weekend we had. It was a profitable weekend for me, and I actually enjoyed the rugby. It was some quality games out there, and excited for this weekend. Got the Six Nations as well, so lots to talk about.
Yeah, there certainly is, and well done. I mean, you joined us. It was load shedding last week. I just got on the show, and we had to wait right until the end until you came on. But it was certainly worth it for those guys who stayed and watched till the end of the show because you were on top form. And in fact, many of the guys in the Good for the Game forum were on good form, and one of them was on form on the show last week, both in terms of his witty comebacks, but also his tipping. It's a couch critic, Hein. Couch, how are you, sir?
How's it, Brent? No, I'm good. It was a cracking first week. Everyone was saying I was really fired up, and I think I showed why I was so excited. It was a great one, and I think the prudent thing is probably to be a little bit more cautious this week, but that's just not the way I roll, eh?
That's it, and I think you can hear the cricket starting up in the background, so I might be muting my microphone for a little bit here as well. But yeah, Hein was on top form. I think he's had his 6 Red Bulls before the show again, so he could be good to go. And yeah, down in Durban joining us, it's Oracle Rugby. Oracle making the big announcement this week that he won't be continuing with his site on a sort of a permanent basis, although he will be keeping it running and also posting the handicap show up there. Gavin, good to have you on the show. I think echo a lot of punter sentiments to say sad to know you'll be stopping your videos because they certainly became a regular for many of us.
Yeah, Brent, I'm also sad to see it go. But look, I gave it a go. No one can turn around and say I didn't give it a go. It's been going for almost 2 years. I think I started in April 2017, so I gave it a good go. It just became a lot of work, and I found I wasn't getting too much out of it from a financial point of view, which I'd expected a little bit more. But other than that, I did enjoy it. But I'm actually going to be doing something else. So I'm going to say watch the space. I'm not going to give too much away at this point. But middle of March to the end of April, I'm going to be doing something else on YouTube. And I'm going to go from there. But I will be a regular on your show. If I'm not here every show, I will be here most of them. So yeah, I'm not giving up on rugby. I still punt on rugby. Still enjoy it. Still got my WhatsApp group. Got a lot of guys who phone me and whatever. So yeah, the viewers won't be missing out on anything.
Yeah, we'll certainly be having you on the majority of the shows, and pleased to do just that. And guys, well, let's get straight into the games. We'll start with Super Rugby, and we'll end off with a bit of Six Nations. I must say, I did ask you guys before the show, let me know if there are any games that you don't fancy too much on. And interestingly enough, this first game, Highlanders v Reds, has not proved that popular with any of the punters. We're sitting with quite a high handicap. Last time I looked at about 19.5 points. Gavin, I'll start with you. You feel the bookies have got this one about right?
I do, Brent. The Highlanders impressed me coming back at the end of the game last week, and I was watching it with a mate of mine who'd punted the Chiefs, and he said to me, geez, he'd had a go at the Highlanders during the game, and sort of towards the end, about 20 minutes to go, he said to me, Al, I've wasted my money covering on the Highlanders, and he was pretty thankful afterwards. So it was a nice win for them. I think the Chiefs gave a little bit away at the end, but the reality is none of us have seen the Reds play, and honestly, to come out with a 19-point handicap, I think it's got me thinking. Right now, I'm not having a bet on the game. I'll see how it goes tomorrow morning, but at this level, I really don't know where to go. Obviously, the Highlanders can win this game by more than 19, and we don't know how strong the Reds are. We've seen nothing from them. We don't know anything about them. They lose by 17 or 18. The Plus is a winner. I don't know. I'm just not confident enough to make a call here, Brent.
Well, Peter Paul making the point here that it's 21.5 points now on Sunbet. And I know Chris, and he's good for the game preview. He did go for the Highlanders on the minus, but not a very confident caller. Probably summing up what we all feel. We could well not be surprised if the Highlanders win this by 30 to 40 points. But we haven't seen the Reds, and we just don't feel confident to get involved. Hein, I can see you nodding. Hopefully not nodding off.
No, definitely not. Obviously, the Highlanders were very kind to me last week with that Chiefs halftime, Highlanders full-time play. So that was a very nice start. And Highlanders 1-7, I think I got. So that was beautiful. But I agree with Oracle on this one. It's tough knowing what the Reds are going to do. Looking at their team, they look a bit weak there, and I don't see them doing much. But again, that's a tantalizing in-between handicap there. And I think actually they might just start relatively strong. So I'll go for the first half handicap alternative kind of handicap or margin. Islanders to lead at halftime by 1-7. I think you'll probably get close to 3-1 just to have a little interest. And I think maybe they'll pull away after that. So then you can have a look if you want at the second half handicap on the Islanders, probably about 9.5.
Now, Henrik, it's a Friday morning for you, and you're going to be at work, which means you're probably going to want to watch rugby.
Henrik doesn't work.
Anything too strong here, but I'm sure you're going to have a bet.
Yeah, Brent, I will have a bet. I haven't had a bet yet. I'm staying out of the handicap at this stage. I have a slight preference for the minus. I like the team, the Highlanders, picking the changes they've made. The team looks stronger than last week. But yeah, I agree with the other two guys that we don't know what to expect from the Reds. Reds team doesn't look that strong, but Brad Thorne is he's a hard coach, and I think I saw they had a pretty hard preseason. They had like a army training camp, something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from the Reds, but yeah, slight preference for the minus, and then yeah, I'll as you say, I'll have a look at the points and maybe get a bet there. It's under the roof.
Is that Camp Stalgrad, Heinrich?
But I don't think it's a bit softer than the one the box had. Yeah, but yeah, I'll have a look at the points, and yeah, my only concern is the ref is Federico Anselmi from Argentina, and he likes his whistle. So yeah, under the roof, you expect points, but I'm not sure about the ref.
Okay, so not a game we're particularly strong on, so keep an eye on the Good for the Game forum, then also on the boys on Twitter, see what else they come out with. Obviously, the points lines are going to be a factor there as well. Let's move on to the Sunwolves against the Waratahs. And Henrik, let me stay with you here. The handicap currently around 21.5. Now, I handicapped this game in the Sunday video at 22.5. Coyle, who's one of the guys still going strong in the GG gaming competition, he thought it would be closer to 31.5, and initial indications are that punters agreed with him. The handicap actually went out to 25.5 and has now come back to 21.5. And the question is, do we go for the Waratahs to put away a Sunwolves team that was soundly thrashed by the Sharks last week?
Now, Brent, I watched you guys' show on Sunday. I didn't watch it live. I wasn't aware the show was going to be on. I watched it probably about an hour after you guys did the show, and I hoped that Coyle would be correct. And so I was looking to back the Sunwolves in the plus, but yeah, the handicap's lower than I was hoping for on the Sunwolves, and I'm actually leaning towards the minus at the moment at the current levels. The Waratahs, they've picked a strong team, and the Sunwolves, Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown, they're out for the first 6 weeks not coaching, so I'm a bit concerned about that. Not that fond of the team the Sunwolves pick. So yeah, just a small bet for me on the minus. I got minus 19 at even money at the exchange, but yeah, very small bet on that.
Now, Oracle, you did indicate to me that this is one of the games you fancied fairly strongly, and I see a smile coming across your face there. Which way are you heading now?
Brent, I remember my first day in this job in 1999, and I sat down, and I was a 28-year-old, and the guy said to me, "What do you think about this game?" And I looked around the table, and there's all these pro punters and bookmakers, and they're going, "Geez, you're actually listening to me." And one thing that I remember about that particular first meeting is they said, "Well, how do you come up with a handicap in the first place?" And I look at a game like this, and I say to myself, the Waratahs aren't as good as the Sharks. The Sharks won by 37, and quite easily could have been 50-0 had Hayden Parker not done that chip kick and it bounced nicely. So I look at that game and I go, it was sort of could have been 50-0. And I say the Waratahs aren't as good as the Sharks, they're probably about 6 or 7 points worse. So I go down to 41, 42, and then I say, well, the Sunwolves are playing in Tokyo, so I can give them a few more points because they're better in Tokyo than they are in Singapore. And I've got to say, I still come out with a number higher than Coyle, and I'm looking at about a 34, 35, and I'm thinking this 21 is crazy. It's a golden price. I do get Henrik here. I would be on the plus if it was in the 30s, but a low 20 minus, I'm definitely with the Waratahs. It's not my biggest bet of the weekend, but I'm certainly interested in this game.
Right, let's bring Couch Critic in there. You in agreement with the boys?
Yes, definitely, Brent. I couldn't believe when I saw the price. I kept thinking they were going more towards Coyle, and it was just staying there. And actually, it went down a little bit, as I think actually Hendrik notified me of the 19.5, which I got on board because that was just unbelievable. I mean, I was a bit worried. I think maybe people were expecting the Waratahs to rest a few players, but I mean, it's the second game of the season. It's just no use doing that. And they've got Falau in there, and I've got him as fantasy captain in every team I've got. So he's going to have to do something special there from the back. And Foley at fly off, Carmichael Hunt in the backs, Kurtley Beale back. I think it's not going to end pretty for the Sunwolves. Yeah, it's going to be sayonara, see you again.
Right, so we're all in. I must say, I'm in agreement with you guys there. I do think the Sunwolves are probably the business, and that's at around about the 21.5 point mark. So we're all going for the Sunwolves. Gavin particularly strong on them there. Let's move on, guys, to the Crusaders against the Hurricanes. There's been loads of action on this game. There was some -4.5 Crusaders early in the week, then generally around the 6.5. We did suggest on the opening show with the handicaps that was probably a good thing, and I see that this handicap has blown out to 10.5. And let me stay with you there, Couch. Did you get on the early minus first and foremost, or do you think there's now some value in backing the Hurricanes on the plus?
Yes, Brent. Thank goodness again. I have to thank Hendrik for that one. I got on 4.5. I started off on 7.5. I took some more at 6.5. Then I was notified of 4.5. So I'm more than 1.5 into this. So it's all systems go for the Crusaders. Yeah, I just look at that Hurricanes team as well, and I mean that was just probably why it went from about 7.5 to 10.5. Is no Bowden Barrett, which I knew wasn't going to happen, and Adi Sevilla out as well. Dane Coles is back, but I mean it's going to be his first one in a while. So no, I'm not expecting much. I'm not a fan of this Hurricanes team this season, and they're just a bit too light up front for me. And even, there's nothing that's gonna tempt me to go for a plus on the Hurricanes unless we're getting 14. So I'm not interested. Probably won't take more of the Crusaders at 10.5. There's still some 8.5 that I saw about an hour ago. So I'll probably still go for the 8.5 on the Crusaders there.
Where did you see that?
WSB, I think.
Okay, good enough for me. I'll be getting on the -8.5. Henrik, obviously, it's already come out through the other guys that you were obviously on early in the week on the Crusaders, so you got that early price. My question to you is now at the 10.5 level, are you still going for the Crusaders, or are you getting a bit nervous?
No, the 10.5 is still good, Brent, on the Crusaders. You can take that. The Crusaders will win this by more than 2 converted tries. Back in Christchurch, and I like the changes they made to the team, and also the Hurricanes. Yeah, when I saw the Hurricanes team this morning, they're clearly resting the best players, and I think they might be conceding this game. Just the changes they made. Perenara on the bench, Lamar on the bench, Odyssey I know. Actually, just before the show, I spoke to my mother-in-law. She loves the fantasy rugby, and Odyssey is one of the guys she always picks, and she asked me, "Where's Odi?" I said, "I know the Hurricanes not picking their best team." So, yeah, I think the Crusaders are very good. Yeah, I've taken a -4.5. I've taken some more -6.5 this morning. And I'm on the Crusaders half-time, full-time at just under even money as well. Yeah, the Crusaders are good things. You can take the -10 as well.
Well, Henrik, very, very bullish on that one. Sorry, I don't know if I heard you correctly. Did you say your mother-in-law plays fantasy rugby?
Yeah, she loves it. She's pretty good at it. Eh? She's in your pool as well in the Good for the Game.
Jeez, please, if I lose to your mother-in-law, no, come on.
She knows the rugby. She's very, very knowledgeable on the rugby.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's interesting to hear. Got a nice, good load of guys on the live chat there. Brett joining us now. Says the weather's looking grim, which is going to benefit one team. And he agrees the -10.5 is absolutely a good thing for the Crusaders. I'm in agreement there as well. And let's pop down to Durban and see if Oracle Rugby's given us a good old rubber stamp.
I don't have much for in this game, Brent, but I got to tell you, if the Hurricanes go out to 3-1 to win the game, I might have a small punt on that because, they have won the tournament. They've been in a couple of finals recently. when you get prices like that, I'm definitely interested in plus double digits Hurricanes. I'm interested in a small nibble. When it gets out of 14 and 15, I'll start putting a bit more money down. At 8 or 9 or 7 or 6 or even 4 for that matter, I just don't have the confidence in the Crusaders. I expected them to win comfortably last week. They didn't. And I think that if the Hurricanes do well in this game, then anybody with a Blues ticket might as well throw it in the bin because the Sharks are going to smash them.
Right, so we're very bullish on the Crusaders. Anything else for you? I mean, Hendrik's already shared. He's got a few bets on there. Couch, quickly before we leave this one, anything else you iron out? A hooker to score a trial for back of a rolling maul, perhaps?
This might be one to have a look at for that. It's just I don't think the Crusaders are as specific that it's definitely going to be the hooker. It might be Matt Todd sitting in the back there, so you just got to have a little bit of a think about that. But again, they probably should attack the Hurricanes in the forward. So yes, it's a decent play to go for. I actually haven't. It's not Ben Fennell starting. It's the other hooker. So just remember, don't go for Ben Fennell as your first try scorer, because the Crusaders definitely aren't going to wait until the second half for the first score.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Sorry, Couch, what about Braden Eno for last try scorer coming off the bench?
That's a beauty, Henrik. I was looking at him on the bench there, and I was thinking he's also my fantasy team, and I was disappointed he wasn't starting. And then I thought, okay, no, wait, off the bench he can still score a try. So yes, his last try scorer, that's a good play there.
I wasn't. Your line broke up there. All I heard is you were looking at a guy in fantasy. I'm not too sure what came in between that, but we'll leave it at that. But okay, that's a good one. Have a look at that last try scorer market with the guys there. Let's move on though to the next game, which is the Brumbies up against the Chiefs. It's a game that I don't think has attracted that much betting interest. I handicapped this game plus 6.5 Brumbies. It's currently sitting around the 6.5, 7.5 mark. And our good friend Coyle O'Connell, he did handicap at plus 3.5, suggesting that he might think there's a bit of value here in going for the Brumbies. And Gavin, I see you shaking your head. Not a game you're particularly keen on?
You know what, Brent? If I'm watching this game, I'll have a small bet on it. I haven't had a bet on it yet, but I'm going Chiefs. I think its Brumbies were very poor last week, and I think half a decent Chiefs team will beat them. So yeah, my advice to any punter here is if you're watching the game, have a small punt on the minus. If you're not watching, put your money back in your wallet.
Well, Helgard Werner on the live chat saying he likes the Chiefs minus 3.5. I must say, Henrik, Gavin pretty much sums up my feelings on the game. If pressed for a bet here, I would be going for the Chiefs, mainly on the basis that I thought the Brumbies were atrocious last week.
Yeah, I agree 100% to that. The Brumbies, they were really bad at home against the Rebels. Yeah, you can't have anything for the Brumbies. And the Chiefs, the changes they made to their team is positive. They're looking better. Only a small concern for me, and this is one of my superstitions. Retallick's playing his 100th game, and normally when the guys play their 100th game, there's heartbreak. So, yeah, it's just a small superstition for me, but I like the minus here as well.
Right, the minus for Henrik. And Hein?
Damian McKenzie back there, so that's bad news. Early in the week, I was actually looking at the Brumbies there. I don't know, I saw a little bit in the first 30 minutes. I think the Rebels scored 2 tries against the run-off play there. I thought they controlled the set pieces. They're actually one of the better Australian teams in terms of scrum and line-out. So, again, I don't know what odds the lads are going to give me on Palau Fainga being the first try scorer 2 weeks in a row. Come on, that's got to be up to like 50-1 or something. So, I might have to talk to the guys there because that could be a runner. And then I'd still have a little nibble maybe on the Brumbies at the highest handicap you can get. But obviously, it's always dangerous against the New Zealand team who could pull away in the last 20. So, it's a bit of a dangerous game. I won't be going big. I definitely don't want to be losing money on the Aussie team.
That's it. I can tell you what, Han, you've got 2 chances of getting your 50-1 after it arrived last week at 25-1, because I know you had a lot of followers on that bet. You were quite vocal about it, and I think the bookies are probably going to come out more like around about the 16-1 mark on that one. So that, but certainly a nice way to bet on a game where perhaps you're not that strong on the handicap. I must say, listening to Oracle there, I started leaning towards the Chiefs. It's not a game I've given too much thought to, but the more I think about that Brumbies performance last week, the more I do think the Chiefs, and certainly that bet in the live chat by Helgard Werner, the Chiefs minus 3.5 half-time, that could be quite a nice play indeed. That takes us on then, guys, to the games that are taking place in South Africa. And we've got a couple of close betting heats here, particularly the first one. It's the Sharks up against the Blues. That's, of course, taking place in Durban. The Sharks' big winners away to the Sunwolves last week. The Blues, well, I didn't watch the game, Hein, but it sounds like they were the usual selves in that, they promised a lot, but they just failed to win the game.
Everybody's favorite lovable losers, eh? Yo, they dazzle, they entertain, just as you're thinking, throw the ticket in the bin, there's no chance they're going to lose by 30. They come with a second half performance. Akira Yohane runs through 5 players and takes 3 of them over the line and scores. It's beautiful. It's fantastic to watch, and at the same time, you pull your hair out when they can't score, when they're 5 meters out and they go for some ridiculous play or something. So, no, it's the Blues are a tough team to call. I think in South Africa, I know they ran the Lions. I think they ran them close last time around. I'm not exactly sure whether they beat them, but they're not probably too bad. Yeah, but I just think the Sharks are good at home. You know, they know their conditions, and I just don't see. Obviously, the problem is if having a long-term bet. If the guys like Hendrik are pretty invested in the Sharks, you really need them to win this one, because if they end up losing against the Blues, then it's really bad news. So maybe they won't go boots in, but I think the Sharks are a decent play. Obviously, it's dangerous for me because then I'll probably be sad on both fronts, out of the wallet and out of my team. But I think I might be backing them with a decent amount of money, because I mean you can get them I think at 11 to 10 still. So that's a pretty good play for me.
Right. Well, Hendrik, interesting that Hein mentions the long-term bets, because it's one of the hardest things as a punter when you do take a long-term view on something and then you bet on their games in the week. You have to actually go in there with a clean slate, don't you? I mean, you've got to look at it and say, forget about my bet on the Sharks long term. How do I assess this game? And I'm saying it as though it's easy, but it's not easy, because at the end of the day, your long-term money is nagging at you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that's the way you should do it, but it doesn't go that way. And yeah, you have preference for that team, so you probably go back them as well. So it's tough backing against your long-term players, and yeah, for me it's tough staying out of a game. I like to have a monetary interest in almost every game. So yeah, I'm with the guys, with the Hein on the Sharks, and I think Oracle, yeah, he said he likes the Sharks here as well, from what I heard from previous games. So yeah, I just think the Sharks, they played in humid conditions last week. They'll play in humid conditions again this week. Blues, I'm not sure what they're going to do. It's a 3 o'clock game, but yeah, it should be pretty humid. And I've taken the Sharks to win at 12 to 10, and then I've also gone for the Blues to lead at half time and Sharks to win the game at 6 to 1. The Sharks, they tend to start a bit slowly at times, but yeah, they do have a very good record against the New Zealand teams, and I think even the Blues have to All Black props. The Sharks should dominate at scrum time. So I like the Sharks here.
He's on the Sharks. So let's go to Oracle in Durban. Oracle, before you share your fancy, are we right in assuming it's going to be humid? And perhaps on match day, we could do a live video of you running on a treadmill and we see what sort of a sweat you break into. We could see what sort of humidity is there.
Yeah, it's going to be humid. Brent's been humid all week. We've had a bit of a breeze, but it's been quite nice. Yeah, I think they're going to struggle. But I got to tell you, you would know with dealing with all these different bookmakers that a lot of the European bookmakers have got the 1 before the price. And when I saw the price of the Sharks and I saw 1.3, I thought, I'm looking at 3 to 10. I thought, it's a bit short. It should be probably about 4 to 10 or 5 to 10. And then I realized I was looking at 13 to 10. I've got to tell you, they got the wrong favourite here. I know that GG have put up a price boost and they're trying to get some money back from the previous price boost they've lost on. There's only one result here. This is grandmother's pension money on the outright. If you can get a hold of your grandfather's pension money, you can take minus 10. Sharks will win this game by more than 10. In fact, the Blues won't even be in this game. I don't even know why they're going to bother pitching up. There's only one result here. Whatever you can get hold of, get it on. You've got a cocky oak at work. Lay him the bet, lay him the Blues, and you'll be smiling on Monday morning at the water cooler. There's only one result here. Sharks will smash them.
Well, I see a number of live viewers drop by 1 as Gavin's granny passed out there. Yeah, the granny's pension, you're going to put it on. I mean, boys, he's confident about the Sharks. I must say, I do like the Sharks here as well. I don't think I'll be sticking granny's pension on it. But, Hendrik, does it fill you with confidence that the Oracle's in your camp, or does it make you rather nervous?
Brent, yeah, Oracle, when he's that confident, sometimes it goes for him, but I've seen a few backfire, so I'm a bit nervous about my long-term bet, and I need the Sharks to win their home games.
He's actually onto his 5th granny in the last year already, so yeah, it's a bit of a problem then. But, okay, that's it. Well, we seem to like the Sharks on that one. It's going to be a good one. Look out for the conditions because certainly humidity is going to play a role. Interested to see what the bookmakers price up on that one. And just to confirm, I'm getting a bit lost here. Have I checked your view on this game?
Yes. I said Sharks outright. I won't put anyone's pension on it. Not my own. Not any in-laws. Not even Hendrik's mother-in-law. I'll keep them all out of it. I'll have a little bet there. Maybe use one of my GG freebies there. And then obviously look out for Akker. It was going to be the best weekend ever on a punting front if Akker was the first try scorer and didn't get in after the Sunwolves idiot went coast to coast there. But no, it's definitely Akker is a good runner there to get the first try because he's got the maul and he's got bustling from anywhere. So watch out for the Warthog.
Yeah, looking for a price on Akker van der Merwe. So that's the Sharks, Blues, all of us in the Sharks camp there. We think they're going to be too strong. I see Ruin Faris saying on the live chat, okay, Oracle, how about giving me a bit of +10 Blues? What would you lay? What would you lay, Ruin, +10 the Blues? You reckon even money there, Gavin?
No, you can have 1 to 4 because I'm looking for 4 to 1 Sharks -10.5. Tell him to go get it somewhere else. He's not going to get it with me.
Ruin, you're not getting any business here tonight. Sorry, mate. That's the Sharks up against the Blues. Brings us on to our next game. It's the Stormers against the Lions. That's taking place in Cape Town. Now, the Stormers, of course, absolutely woeful last night. Blown away by the Bulls. I must tell you guys a quick one there. I mean, I actually wrote my Citizen article about it this week. My son had a water polo tournament that finished at 3:30 last week, and I thought I'll take a casual drive back. I'll be in front of the TV by 5:05 or whatever time the game kicks off, and I'll have a nice bet on the Blues -3. What happened instead is he's got this, I can only call him a mad teacher, that had cycled to the venue and was about to cycle back about 60 kilometers after the thing. And my wife, being the good Samaritan, says, oh, my husband's got a Hilux. Stick your bike in there. We'll lift you home. So anyway, I thought the guy lived maybe 10 or 15 minutes away from me. An hour round trip later, and I started running out of petrol, which didn't help. Eventually, I pull into a petrol station. It's 5:30. I'm cursing because I now know I've missed my bet. I switched my phone on. And guess what? The game was delayed, and I managed to get the bet on. I couldn't believe it. It was divine intervention. And, of course, the Bulls said, but I could not believe it. My wife's like, no, we'll lift you home. We'll lift you home. Jeez, unbelievable. I nearly missed the entire game. In the end, I missed the first few minutes, but at least I got my bet on. But I know you boys, Henrik, you were big on the Bulls last week.
Yeah, I liked the Bulls last week, and things worked out with the Stormers being delayed in traffic. That disrupted them badly, I think. Yeah, I'm not reading too much into the scoreline at Loftus. I think that delay they had was a big disruption, and I like the Stormers this week. The travel back from Argentina, I think that counts against the Lions. And I just think the only concern with the Stormers, their lineup. Yeah, the lineup it was woeful, but and that's not something you fix in a week's time. But the Lions' back row is pretty short, and the Stormers had Peter Steph at 7, so they should have a few lineup options. Somebody posted on the forum about Stormers +9.5 at 9 to 10 earlier in the week at Hollywood, and I had a fair chunk of that. And I've also taken the Stormers to win the game at 26 to 10. So this is. Well, I haven't actually decided between the Crusaders and this one, but it's a close one between these two games for my best bet. I like the Stormers strong here, and I think the Stormers will win the game.
Well, I just popped over to Hollywood actually. While you were talking, I was looking at Hollywood. I see they have come into 7.5, but I know even Justin on the GG Gaming on match, he still felt the 6.5 was there. And I must say, I think I'll quickly have a look at what I handicapped the game at early in the week. I think it was probably somewhere around 4.5 Stormers. What did I say? Yeah, I said Stormers +4.5. So I tend to be with you there, Henrik, and I think the plus could be a bet. But let's see if Couch is in agreement with us, or is he just seen the Stormers as too dangerous a team to support?
I would definitely not make this my best bet of the week. I just don't see how you turn this around in 1 week. It's one thing losing, making a few mistakes. It's another thing Peter Steph is saying there that we just have to fix a few small things. Pal, that's not a few small things. That's chaos. How you can be so bad in a line-out, having a Springbok hooker is shocking. And Peter Steph there, they've got 3 options with Peter Steph. That was poor. That's mentally not being there. The boys, John Luke couldn't pass a ball and I rate him. Ruan Nel couldn't catch a ball and I rate him. So I don't know. I mean, what does traffic do to not catching a ball? I don't know. That's a bit of bull there. I don't see how they turn this thing around. I think it's mentally, maybe they can improve. I'm hoping they can improve. I called them to win the conference, so they better bloody improve. But no, I'm hoping they have improved showing, but I just can't get on them. I think they're going to have to battle things out and sort things out and hopefully improve. It's a better team. I'll give them that. It's a much better team. I'd like Josh Thunder to start. That will make a big difference. If he starts, I would have been a bit more happier. But at this stage, it's not a big play for me. I'll have a little nibble on the Lions -4.5. I think they weren't great against the Jaguars for me, but they were a bit better than I expected. And Carlos Sardi, I was hugely impressed, and I think he's going to come out looking to prove a point. And Alistair Vermaak could be in a bit of problems there. I think he's stronger than him, and the pack did well. So I think it'll be a good battle. And if pushed, I'll go for -4.5, which I got at Bethlehem.
And tell me something, Hein. Last week, I know you had a bit of a personal attack on one of the Bulls players, if I remember, coming from the George region. What was his name?
Yo, Brent, you want me to keep saying that, eh?
Well, I can't remember, but how did he play? I mean, I think he came off the bench and played okay, eh?
Oh, geez, it doesn't matter when you come on and you're 30 ahead, eh? So we'll have to wait and see. This week we'll see what he does against the Jags. There we're gonna see what my local's gonna do. But luckily, Warwick Galan's also from here, so at least I can look him in the eye. I think he's quality.
He's quality, and he's getting someone who's shot. You didn't mention the guy's name though. What's his name again?
Dion van der Westhuizen.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear. We'll have him on the show next week. No, excellent. Let's go over to Oracle now. I know this was Oracle, one of the games you'd penciled in, not one of your bigger bets, but you did have quite a strong fancy here.
Yeah, Brent, I'm normally quite cautious when it comes to backing a team that I've gone against quite big the week before, as you know, and I'm sure I'm with most of the guys on the forum here, on the show, that we all went against the Lions last week. I watched that game, and I wasn't drunk, so it was late at night. I did watch it. And I'll tell you what I saw. I saw what appeared to be a very well-coached Lions team. I was impressed with their defense on the try line. I think they stopped, if I stand to be corrected, I think it was 3 or 4 decent onslaughts by the Jaguars within 10 meters of the try line. And they were down by 8 at one point, and I thought, here's the Jaguars going to pull away. They didn't. The Lions came back. They didn't panic. They didn't do anything stupid. They played like professionals. They played like disciplined players. I was really impressed with the Lions. And I got to take all the bias out here. Yes, I wear the Lions shirt every Friday at work and on the weekends. But honestly, this is not a biased comment. I got absolutely nothing from the Stormers. I think they were rubbish. They didn't know what they were doing. In fact, I'm going to just add a multiplier to everything Couch said about the Stormers. You can just multiply whatever he said by 5. It was far worse than he thought. It was rubbish. And what did impress me about the Jaguars, though, is their kicker, that youngster that's taken over from Sanchez. Yes, he's young and he's not as good as Sanchez, but he played a good game. And I think if it wasn't for him, they probably would have lost the game by 25. So, I'm going to tell you to back the Lions here. It's not my biggest play. In fact, I'm going to be chucking a few coins on from the change from my grandmother's pension on the Sharks game. I'll be chucking at the Lions minus. I'm impressed to see that the minus has come down. There's a bit more value for the Lions. For me, the Lions will win this game. By how much is another story. Whether they'll win by 10 or 12, probably could be as much as 15. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if they win this game by 30. But I honestly cannot see the Stormers winning this game.
Henrik's shaking his head there. Just for our international viewers, because of course, being Super Rugby, we get New Zealand and Australia viewers. Please note that our pension regulations in this country are not very strict. Grandsons are allowed to access pensions for betting. You probably don't have that in Australia and New Zealand, but here no problem at all. We can get into the pensions. Henrik, I'm going to give you a response to that one now. Just to say, Dino says Manus Skuman anytime try scorer. We'll get Couch's opinion on that. He did, of course, score tries last week against the Jags. But Henrik, you're shaking your head violently here. You can't see it.
Yeah, no, Gavin's saying the Lions can win by 30. There's no chance. They won't win by double figures. They won't win the game. The Stormers will win the game. But if the Lions win, it will be very close. So, yeah, there's no chance they'll win by more than 10, more than 20.
Okay, firm shaken. Han, let me give you a word on the game. Manus Skuman, anytime try scorer. I suppose he'll be a fairly short price because he is one of those guys who just seems to... I've always called him a fairly greedy player, but he gets his fair share of tries.
What do you mean, Brent? Like 3 to 10. There's no value there.
Is he 3 to 10? No, if he's 3 to 10, then there's no value. I haven't looked at the price. Oh,
No, I'm just joking.
and I don't really think he's greedy. He's actually a hell of a nice guy.
No, he's not.
What do you think of that one?
Yeah, the problem is I don't like any time Jai score that much, because as Gavin says, it's not exactly 3-10, but it won't be 3-1. So that's the problem you've got there. And the only issue, which is actually a bit of a concern for Lions now, is that they seem to vary between Skuman and Marks at the back of that rolling ball. So it's not like you can know that you definitely, if they're going to go for a corner, Marks is going to lock in there. I think Skuman just like the play might be for Marks to be there, but Skuman overrides him and just says, "Listen, boy, I'm taking this ball." So it's going to be tough. I'm actually hoping that they switch back to Marks, and I think Marks could be a runner for try scorer. But again, I don't want to take him any time, and first time is a bit tough because Heinrich also likes the Stormers. So I'm a bit undecided on that one, but get Skuman in your fantasy team because he doesn't pass.
Yeah, that's it. He's not known for his passing. That's a game I'm quite undecided on. I think that plus 9.5 Stormers probably would have attracted my attention. But at current levels, I may wait and have a points bet on this one. Let's move on to our last Super Rugby game, though, guys. And I imagine it's kicking off really late at night. I haven't looked at the time. But we got the Jags up against the Bulls. The Jags going down to the Lions last week. And the Bulls, of course, trouncing the Stormers at home. But Gavin, one thing the Bulls have often struggled with is reproducing some decent home form on the road. They have battled. I think they've lost both the meetings away to the Jaguars. But, on the basis of that win over the Stormers, they're going to have plenty of support and are narrow favourites.
Yeah, Brent, I think that it's going to be difficult to bring the Bulls down. I think they're way up above the ground, their confidence. I think that win was massive for them last week. I mean, the crowd... In fact, the next time the Bulls play at home, I think it's going to be a huge crowd. I think they'll probably even pretty much fill it up. I know they don't fill up stadiums, but they'll get pretty close. I think the Bulls will win this game. In fact, you'd asked me this question a week ago. I would have told you no South African team will win against the Jaguars, but they're not as good as I thought they were a week ago. I think they were quite poor if it wasn't for one or two players on the field and that fly half, as I mentioned earlier. I do think the Bulls will win this game. I'm not very confident on it. But I do think that there's value. I would have expected the Bulls to be a plus 3 or 4 here, but obviously because of their smashing of the Stormers, they are favourites. Not a lot of value in backing them, but my advice to punters here is either back the Bulls or don't have a bet. I wouldn't be backing the Jaguars.
Yeah, interesting, because I just had a look back on the Good for the Game forum now, what I handicapped this game at the start, and I thought it would be Jaguars about plus 7.5, and Brendan actually thought plus 9.5. So if I'm consistent or true to my word there, I'll probably be pulling in and going for the Bulls. And I do like the Bulls. I really was impressed with them. I sort of changed my mind towards the end of the sort of pre-season, if you want to say, and I sort of made the Bulls my pick for the South African Conference. And Hein, which way are you going on this game? Do you think the Bulls at 8-10 are any value, or do you think the home team are going to surprise you? Well, not surprise, but get back on the winning trail.
I will not be convinced by one performance against the Stormers team who didn't pitch up at all. I think the Bulls still have a lot of questions to answer. Speckman is the hero this week. Give it 3 weeks and everyone's going to say a 7-star can't play Super Rugby. That's how fickle we are, and I think things are going to change quite quickly. I actually don't think the Jaguars are quite as bad. I think in that second half, they pressed the Lions a lot, and the Lions, as Gavin said, the defense really held strong. I think it's a new coach, a new setup. They'll be better after another week. I got on the Jaguars plus 8.5. I thought that was unbelievable. I think it's tough playing there. I have a theory on the Bulls. They don't like it when they go to another place where they can't speak or read in Afrikaans, so it's a bit of a problem for them. It's going to be very foreign there. So I think hopefully the Jaguars will do the job. At current levels, it's not so easy. I'll still have a little coin on the Jaguars outright that I don't know what you can get them at. 12-10, 13-10, but I'm happy being on the 8.5 and even getting a little bit of an extended handicap onto something like the Waratahs or the lesser handicap or the Crusaders.
I must say, Henrik, I didn't realize that there was 8.5 early in the week there, but I think GG came out around that level. Hey, were they quite similar to Brendan and myself? Because geez, that is quite big. I mean, it's long gone now, of course.
Yeah, I'm surprised to you plus 8.5. I missed that as well. Not that I would have had a big bet because this is a game where I'm not very strong. I'm concerned, the same concern that I brought up about the Bulls away from Loftus. They're very good at Loftus, but when they get on the road, yeah, they put in the past they put in a few soft performances. So I'm not that convinced about the Bulls. But then again, also the Jaguars, you can't really back them after the performance against the Lions last week. So not very strong here. I took a small bet on the Jaguars, 12-10 to win the game. And then also a small interest on Bulls to lead at half-time, Jaguars to win the game at 6-1. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, not very, very strong here.
Right, Peter Paul mentioning that there was actually plus 10.5 Jaguars available early in the week, so that's quite a bit of support for them there. Guys, that brings us to the end of Super Rugby. I'm going to come back at the end of the show for your best bets, but let's touch on the Six Nations. We've got 3 games taking place this weekend, and the first of them that I want to discuss, and Henrik, I'll stay with you, is France against Scotland. A lot of money for the French. I think they were around about minus 3.5, and on Team News and that they've gone to minus 7.5. But gee, I don't know if you can back this French team with any confidence, no matter who they play.
Yeah, it's tough backing the French, like Neil Andrews always say, and I always bring up that saying as well. In certain things in life, death taxes and the French will let you down. But I've taken the French here, minus 5.5. So, yeah, the Scots, the players that lost, the vital players to them, especially Hawk and Russell. So, but yeah, also the French team, yeah, I'm not that sure about Intermac at 10 and the scrum off as well. But yeah, I've taken the French here and I like them at home. So yeah, medium-sized bet on the minus 5.5 France here.
Right, Hein, bringing you in there. I see Sean Nicholas on the live chat. He's going France on the halftime handicap because they generally only play 40 minutes. And I couldn't agree with him more. The problem is sometimes they play the first 40 and sometimes they play the second 40, and you've got to figure out which one. Where you headed here?
Brent, Raga Baga stole my bet there. I don't know if he saw my playbook somehow. I was actually hoping to get minus 2.5 because that just, to me, it makes a big difference between 2.5 and 3.5, just having that penalty in the bag. And I'm still hoping I can get 2.5 somewhere, but I've got 3.5 at the moment, having a little play on that. If I can get 2.5, I'd go more. I agree with him. And it's more about, firstly, Scotland missing. I mean, I'm a big fan of Russell and Hogg, and to me, that's like you're taking out the spine of the team there. And then I don't really like the French team that much. I don't like Bastro. He's still there. But I'm just going for the emotional thing. I think they've got only one way to go, and that's they're gonna come out with a firecracker up the bum, and they're gonna really perform in that first 40. They might slack off after halftime. I don't know what they do in that change room, sniff something or something, some white lines or something. But I'll just back them for the first 40. So that's where I'll be heading. And as I said, hopefully 2.5 if I can get it somewhere.
All right, Gavin.
Yeah, Brent, I love the Scottish. You know that. I've been punting them for a long time. I hate the French. You also know that. But this week, I don't know. Something's telling me the French are going to win this game and they're going to win it comfortably. I gave up. I threw my ticket in the bin before the French gave up the last time they played England. I don't have a big bet here. I got a small bet on France minus, and I think it's the right way to go. But honestly, if you're not sure, don't have a bet. Otherwise, take a small bet on the French. And Henrik's right, and Neil Andrews right. They're all right. I mean, you talk about the first 40 or the last 40. It could also be the middle 40 they fall asleep on. I don't know. It's a horrible game. Don't put a lot of money on this game. Just watch it, enjoy it, have a small punt, and hopefully you're right. I got a small bet on France. That's it.
Yeah, it seems like the guys in the live chat agree in agreement here. Helcott's saying it's pretty much hard to put money on France, but with the Scotland injuries, it's virtually a coin flip, this one. So probably not a game to get too involved in. But the Wales v England game, Gavin, probably is, because this is a game that could potentially decide the Six Nations, certainly if Wales can get the victory here. But we've got England minus 3.5 points in most of the places I've looked. Should be a cracking game. And are England going to put in their third impressive performance in a row?
I believe so, Brent. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I went against the English. I went the Irish minus. The last time I went the French plus. And so now I'm going against a team that I'm going for a team I've gone against 2 weeks in a row. Or 3 weeks in a row, sorry, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry. England will win this game comfortably. They also, as I mentioned about the Lions, well coached. They seem to know what they're doing. I don't know what they were doing in November, but they certainly fixed it over the holidays. And I don't think Wales are good enough. They've played Italy and they played Scotland. Sorry, not Scotland. Again, anyway,
they beat France. They came from behind to beat France in the first leg.
That's right. That lucky second half against France. They were poor against Italy. We all won on the plus on that game. I'm sorry, England will win this game also by more than 10. Listen, I'm not going massive yet. It's a medium to high bet for me, but it's not. Don't find your grandmother on this one.
Right, if your grandmother's got any pension left by the time the game rolls around. Henrik, it's going to be a cracking game to watch this, and I haven't really looked at the total points lines. Well, I don't know if they're out here, but I haven't looked at the history yet between the sides' total points. But I imagine the spread will probably come out around 45.5 here.
Yeah, and it's under the roof as well, and you've got Jaco Paper with the whistle, who I label as an overs ref. So, yeah, I'll have a look at going overs at some way, and probably going overs on England points, because I like the English here as well. It's the biggest game of the weekend with the Super Rugby and everything. This is the biggest game, and I'm glad that it kicks off just after the Stormers game has finished, and we're going to celebrate the Stormers win, and then we can watch the Wales and England game. Yeah, but there's two brilliant coaches up against each other. But I think Warren Gatland has missed the trick, picking bigger, picking Anscombe ahead of bigger. I think bigger would have been a better pick at 10. So yeah, I was actually glad to see that he's picked Anscombe, because I'm on England on the minus here as well.
Right, and Hein, what do you reckon on this one?
Yeah, I agree with Heinrich there on the bigger point. That's a bit of a concern, but I still think Wales have had 3 weeks to prep for this one. They played the B team against Italy. They've been saving themselves. I think this is the big one for them. They're going to put everything into it. So I don't know, maybe try and have some kind of involvement on them in the first half there, because they're going to give it everything for 40, and then probably England will just be too good in the second. But I've got just a little play on England 1-12 at about 18-10. I think that's my play. Nothing huge there, and just a little nibble on Wales halftime, England full time at 6-1.
Well, certainly after your form in the last couple of weeks with those type of bets, Hein, I think you're going to have a lot of guys paying attention or taking note of that. Setas has just said Wales on the plus for him. The boys just discussing on the live chat the handicap, which seems to have settled around the 3.5-4.5 point mark. I must say, just from what I've seen of England in the last 2 weeks, I do feel they've got more quality than Wales. Wales are going to put up one hell of a fight, but I think the English are going to pull clear late, and I think they're going to win this comfortably on the handicap. I'm also looking to get on the minus there. And that takes us to the final game of the weekend. It's the 10th game on our card. This is the game, well, if you're chasing, you've got to go hard at this one. It's Italy up against Ireland. And last time I looked, and I'm going to quickly pop across to one of the websites now, but we had a massive handicap on this game. Yeah, 28.5 points. It's still very much there. And Couch, I'll stay with you. Ireland minus 28.5. I mean, if they really put it together against Italy, they should beat this handicap even away from home. But, you know, where are the Irish at the moment? And you know, there's always the possibility of late tries.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. And you know, what do they really have to pay for in this one? They know the Six Nations is probably, or 99% sure it's gone for them. So I don't think, obviously they'd like to get the bonus point, try and get a little bit more momentum. But I actually haven't looked at the team yet, so I'd like to have a look and see whether they've changed a few guys. But there's nothing. I mean, Italy I always hate going against Italy because it's just never a nice game. They usually scrap and make it tight, and it's error-ridden, and I just don't enjoy it. Obviously, it's nice if you win some money on the plus, but they've been good at keeping people on the plus. So I'd still go for the first half Italy plus. It's been good to me. It's going to be 14.5. That's two converted tries. I mean, it's tough breaking that. So I'll stick to that recipe, but nothing huge, and maybe in play have a look and see whether Ireland are starting to settle, and then take them in running in the second half.
Gavin, I also quite like Italy on the plus handicap there a little bit. I'm not too certain how it would be going on the overall game. What's your strategy on this one? I know it wasn't one of the games you fancied strongly.
No, Brent, the problem here is you don't know how weak the Irish team is that they're going to send over there. Just like you mentioned, they probably can't. Well, I don't think they can win the tournament now. Wales and England going for a third win. It's very difficult to come back from a loss to beat a team that's 3 on the trot going into the last 2 weeks, especially if you've played one of them already in the case of England. So yeah, Italy are. I've punted Italy lots of times. 29.5, 28.5 sounds a bit too high. I'm going to tell you to take the plus here. Probably the halftime, what Couch is saying, is a good idea. The halftime plus should arrive comfortably. And then, if you're really nervous at about the 56, 58th minute, jump onto Ireland minus. You never know. You might even get it at 18 or 17 or 21, and the game lands on 26 or 27, and you might get a double, a middle. Sorry, I'm not very confident on this game. It all depends on how I go on local racing on Sunday afternoon, to how much money I got at 5 o'clock for the Italy and Ireland, because I would have banked my grandmother's pension back in again late on Saturday night.
And Henrik, I know this wasn't a game that you were that strong on either.
Yeah, Brent, I don't have a real feel in this. I also have preference for the plus. There's plus 30.5 at Hollywood still available on Italy. But yeah, this is the only game on Sunday. So saying I don't really have a feel for it, seeing it's the only game on Sunday, I'm probably going to have a few bets on the game. And yeah, I see Glenn Jackson is the ref, so I'll have a look at some kind of underspec here. I'll have a condition. So, but yeah, slight preference for the plus.
Yeah, of course, you couldn't go Sunday without a bet, Henrik. I understand where you're coming from. You've got to get in. You've got to get involved. Guys, that brings us to the end of a nice show. I think we were quite brief tonight. And actually, what have we been going? About 51 minutes. We've covered 10 games. I won't ask Gavin to calculate how many minutes per game. Very difficult to divide by 10. But let's go through and do our best bets for the week, guys. And let's start with Henrik there. Henrik, what's your best bet? You can mention your early line that you may have gotten, but if you hadn't got any bets down, what would you be going for now?
Yeah, at the current lines, I would still take the minus on the Crusaders. So, yeah, my best bet, Crusaders, I think, I'm not sure whether there's minus 9.5 available, but I'll take the minus 10.5 Crusaders. And a close second on the Stormers Plus, because I think the Stormers will win the game.
And the Stormers Plus. Just a reminder to you all that the Good for the Game newsletter will be coming out bright and early in the morning. We'll carry our best bet and a link to the show. And a good chance, I think, that the Crusaders are going to feature in that best bet. Let's go to Couch Critic. Couch, your best bet of the weekend.
Waratahs minus 20 for me. That's my best play. And then a combo of Sharks plus 7.5 onto the Crusaders there, probably about minus 2.5, 3.5 to give you just over evens.
Right, I like that bet. I know Henrik, one of Henrik's mates, Johan Loeb, shows on Twitter. We often talk about him. He likes lining up those sort of short prices. And I see he did tweet me earlier this afternoon. I'll have to have a look what he played as well. Gavin, let's go to you and give you the final word as far as the panelists go for your best bet.
Sharks to win the game, definitely. If you want to boost that, you can stick the Waratahs minus into that. And you can put England to win and Lions to win, to add to, and Bulls to win. So nice quintuple, I think it is. 5 teams. Yeah, Waratahs, Lions, Bulls, England. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 5. Nice 5 multiple there. If you're only looking for one bet of the weekend, take the Sharks, and you can take any minus you like. They'll win comfortably.
Any minus you like. I love that confidence. I must say, I do like the Crusaders. I'll be having a look at the World Sports Betting at that minus 8.5 is still there. I'll be getting on. Otherwise, generally in agreement with a lot of the panelists, I do like the Sharks as well, although just got a feeling that the moment I go against the Blues, they're going to teach me a lesson. Guys, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks also to all the guys in the live chat. We had a great turnout tonight. Always good to get your comments. Thanks to a lot of you on for both shows as well. So thanks a lot. And to the panelists, enjoy, and we'll see you guys in the next week. And no doubt be in contact on the forum and on Twitter on the weekend. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much for joining us. Remember, you can subscribe to the video below the video. Make sure you don't miss any of our rugby chats going forward. We're going to be jam-packed between now and the World Cup later in the year. So do make sure you subscribe. Look forward to seeing you on the Good for the Game forum. And if you haven't subscribed to the Good for the Game newsletter, well, what the hell's wrong with you? You better do that as well. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.